Thank you very much, Anita. It is great to be here in my hometown of Dublin, closing out this session in wearing what I did not realise was going to be such a controversial piece of clothing. People were saying to me, Ruth, is your jacket blue and black, or is it white and gold? So I'm not sure what it is anymore. So as Anita said, I'm Ruth McEntee, and I head up the CPG pod here in Ireland for Google. And what I've been doing over the last couple of days is sitting in the audience alongside all of you and figuring out what were the things that were really landing for me. So hopefully you'll remember a couple of these faces when they come up now. Do they look familiar to you guys? Yeah, so some familiar faces that are still here today. And they taught us a lot, and I know we've thrown a lot of content at you. And we've heard about concepts like 10x thinking, and we've heard about innovation, and we've heard about winning the moments that matter, and how to build your content strategy. And all of these people are brand experts, they're Google experts, and they're technology experts. Although I'm not sure we can include Patrick Collister in that after his laptop malfunction yesterday, but he certainly is a brand expert. And all of these experts have given us food for thought. And for me, there's been a huge amount of stimulus and a huge amount of provocation in the presentations over the last couple of days. And my new and very nice Google Notebook, which we got yesterday, is full to the brim of things that I'm looking forward to bringing back to my team and also to my clients. So what are the big things and the big themes that I've noticed? What I wanted to do, so I'll give you my take on what I found interesting and what really landed with me over the last 2 days sitting here amongst you. But what I also wanted to do is give a little bit of time back to all of you, give you a bit of reflection time to think about what were the things that absolutely excited you over the last 2 days? What were the things that actually made you a little bit nervous? And you thought, if I don't do this now, I'm in really big trouble. And what's the one action that you're going to take out of the session and bring back to your business? So, Ruth's 5 big things that we see. The first one is all about signaling. So how do we build better relationships with our customers? By actively listening to the signals that they give us. So I think any of us who are in any kind of relationship will know that relationship can be made better if we listen a little bit more carefully. And none more so than the relationship that we have with our customers. And because our customers are living their entire lives online, they live online now, the signals that they're giving us are really strong. And they're leaving a really, really interesting footprint for us to listen to. And some of us as brands aren't actually doing that. So we're not listening to their signals, we're completely ignoring them. And we're talking to our customers, be they a loyal brand customer of ours, or be they someone who's never used our brands before. We're talking to them in a similar manner, and we're not listening to the signals that they're giving us. So what can you guys do about that, and how can you go about changing the way that you're listening to your customers? Well, for me, there's 3 things, and they're pretty easy things to do. So it's all around collect, segment, and engage. Collect, segment, and engage. So the first thing is we need to actually start listening and collecting those signals that our customers are leaving for us. How do we do that? At a really tactical level, it's about making sure that the properties that you guys own, your website, the advertising that you're doing, all of that sort of stuff is properly tagged, and you're actually collecting the signals. They're really powerful signals available today that your customers are giving you. So that's collect. That's the one thing I would advise you to start doing if you leave this room. The next thing is about segmenting. So once you've collected those signals and you're starting to listen, how do you actually segment those customers? And then in terms of engage, how do you actually engage with them a little bit differently based on what they're telling you they're doing, what they're searching for, what they're browsing, what they're watching on YouTube? All of those signals are available to you today. So collect them, segment them, and then engage with them a little bit differently. So, think digital first, not digital last. Or is anyone here thinking digital first, acting digital first? Yeah, and it's a very easy thing for me to say, and it's a much harder thing, I think, for all of us to do. Sometimes it involves absolute systemic and structural change within our business. And it's changes that impact the way that we plan, impact the way that we execute, and actually impact the way that we measure the success or failure of our advertising campaigns. And that can be a huge, huge body of work. And one thing that struck me from yesterday was Ronan's analogy of the courageous penguin. Don't know if you remember that from yesterday. So my ask to you guys is, are you going to be a courageous penguin? Who in your organization, especially if you're an organization that isn't even thinking digital last, or not thinking digital at all, what impact can you guys have when you go back based on the content that you've seen here over the last 2 days? And can you be that courageous penguin? So the next thing is around impact, and this sentence from today actually really resonated with me, and I know I won't labor the point too much, but I think thinking about concept being king and execution being everything else, what I took from Joe's presentation, which was absolutely excellent, by the way, yes, this is true, but what I really took from it was about authenticity. So how does our concept be authentic to the platform on which we're putting it? So if we're running a YouTube campaign, how is it authentic to YouTube? And I think that's really important. He talked about the digital dialogue and making sure that people could come in on the chatter. And I think that's a really important thing to think about. Execution is also really important. And authenticity is important in execution as well. So how are we authentic in how we're executing? Are we overproducing some of the things, and can it actually be a little bit more conversational? Data makes your briefcase heavy, insight make you rich. Does anyone know who said that? Do we have any more prizes, Anita? I don't know. No prizes and no guesses. It was Niall Fitzgerald, who's the ex-CEO of Unilever, and it's a really powerful quote, I think. And it struck me, and I think the guys did an amazing job of running you in 40 minutes through all of the free tools that Google has and that you guys can use for free. But the problem is carving out time to actually find the insight within those tools. And Dara mentioned about the toolkit that all of you have received over the last today, actually. And I'd urge you to carve out time to actually play around with those tools and figure out what the insight is for your business and how you can actually use that. We totally recognize that you all know your brands really well. You all have research that you do, and you all have your own data. And adding a lot of this on top of that isn't useful unless you find the time to use it. So the tools are absolutely brilliant. They're free, but only if you find the time to find the insight within them. And finally is around scale, and we've talked a little bit about scale today. And one of the things I want to urge you to do is to partner with us a little bit more. We talked over the last couple of days about how marketing in the fundamental elements that make up marketing hasn't changed over the last couple of years. You still want people to buy your stuff. It's as simple as that. But the complexity of the platforms and the fragmentation of those platforms is undeniable. And I think it can be quite overwhelming for people. So when people are leaving university and they're coming in as grads within our teams, we're expecting them to be experts on Google, experts on YouTube, experts on Twitter and Facebook and all of those platforms. And that's something that, it's quite difficult for someone to be experts on all of those things. But the clever people and the people that we're working with are actually, they're not trying to be experts, but they're trying to leverage the experts. And we have 2,500 digital natives, digital experts within this building here in Google. And I really urge you to use them. You guys are the ones, you know your brands the best. You're absolutely the brand experts. And we're the digital experts. And I think if we can combine those two things, it's a really, really powerful combination. And it's something that we're totally up for. So they're my 5 top tips. So in summary, it's use the signals to find your audience. It's use the signals to find your audience. It's use the data to prove the impact of that. And it's use us as Google to scale that impact across the web and build your brand online in this new world. Sounds pretty easy. So that's just my view on things. But the important thing within this session, I think, is to give a little bit of time back to you guys to reflect. So it's over to you. As I said, I want you to reflect on 3 things. What has you most excited from the content over the last 2 days, over the last 26 hours? What's made you a little bit nervous, made you a little bit uncomfortable, and is something that you're itching to get back to your day job and to actually get going on? And what one action are you taking out of the last 2 days that you're going to do when you get back to the office? What I'd like you to do is partner up. I'm going to put 4 minutes on the clock if we can do that, and just for you to have a little bit of a discussion around it, and we can start sharing back. So if anyone brought their notebooks, you can jot it down, but pair up to your left or to your right, and come back to me in 4 minutes with the one thing that you're going to do. Sound okay? Go. Oh, yeah, I'm going to give them a call, yeah. Huh? Okay, who doesn't love the countdown music to signal the end of our discussion? So we're bringing back our friend Seamus, the lovely Android Teddy here. Who would like to share something that they're going to do differently based on what they've heard over the last couple of days? Or do I have to pick on people? And it's an easy throw for me. Thank you. You're so kind.
So we're going to look at, I'm going to brief our research teams on how to use the research tools. we're focused on traditional market research approaches, but hey, maybe Google has some new tools that allow us to look at brand impact cost effectively.
Yeah, and in real time. What's better than that?
Yeah.
Who else? Some good discussions going on. I have all day. I'm good, yeah. Do you want me to randomly throw it? Oh, okay. The lovely man in the silver jacket. Or his friend.
Looks like I've got this. So one of the things that I'm going to do is encourage our global team to think more about the platforms that we're creating content for. So we're quite guilty of going, right, we have a TV campaign and let's just try it out on YouTube. So actually start creating some content that's a bit more unique to the platform. Yeah,
and authentic, I think it was Joe's point. Yeah, brilliant. You can feel free to throw that behind you. Who do you want to get? Oh. Hello.
Is it on?
It is on, yes. Thank you for sharing.
Okay. Basically, we've done a couple of TrueView videos, and I think they've been a little bit too safe, maybe, a little bit obvious, like, here's a product, go and buy, come to our website. So I'm going to say to our creatives team, do something a bit different, something that's a little bit, maybe could be shared a little bit more than just, here's our product, shop online.
Yeah.
Let's try something a little bit different and see if it can go viral.
Yeah. And we know you can promote it to ensure that it does. And I think you're right, and something that resonated with me is how playful you can actually be on YouTube and platforms online versus the more traditional media. Yeah, great point. Last one. Who's going to let me go for my lunch? You are. Thank you. I'm very hungry.
Hello. It's me then. For me, it was authenticity. It just ran through the 2 days, so I'll take that back to the team.
Great. Thank you very much, guys, and thanks for sharing. And I think the big impact of the last couple of days, I know there's been a lot of content and a lot of learning, but it's the commitment that we're all making to ourselves to actually bring some of this stuff back to our teams, and be they the teams that we actually manage ourselves, or be they people like the research teams or teams that we actually work with. So thank you very much, and thank you for your participation over the last couple of days and in this last 15 or 20 minutes. And with that, I'm going to say Gurv Mila Mahagat August Slán and hand over to Cecile for the final few words. Thank you very much.
Well done.